क्योंकि ना इधर थोड़ा गड़बड़ चल रहा है, क्या करूँ मैं। Okay, first let us revise quickly. There was a 8-year-old girl called Bhali. She is from a village, and she likes observing things from her front door. Instead of playing with other children of her age, okay, she enjoys as much as watching outside view, okay, than being involved with the children of her age. And in the process of observing from the front door of her house, what she has developed was an intense desire to take a bus ride to her nearby, to a nearby city, which is around say 6 miles, I think, okay, from her residence. Okay, so the bus takes around 30 paisa, I think, 30 paisa each side. So she, being a small girl, did not have money with her. That is why she saved this money, okay, over a period of time, over a period of many months. She saved that money in order to take a bus ride to her to a nearby city. So eventually, when she was able to save 60 paisa, which is the cost of to and fro journey from her village to the nearby city, she eventually decided to take a bus ride. Okay, and she got into the bus. The conductor was initially hesitant, but then out of curiosity he asked, who else is there with you? Ask them to come quickly. And then she said, no, there is no one with me, I'm traveling alone. And then the bus driver became surprised, and then but in spite of that, from her conversation with the bus driver, he came to know that she is matured enough for her age. Okay, even though she appeared to be small, but she has maturity in her words. She is wise enough, and that is why the bus driver started cracking sometimes jokes with her as well, and also started addressing her as madam instead of girl or something. Okay, and then then another one or two person, okay, approached her for giving her advice, okay, about not traveling all alone and all that. So, but she didn't like their suggestions because it was her own decision, and she thinks she can take care of herself. Okay, so this is what we have studied so far. Today we shall start from part 3 onwards. Okay, so let's see part 3 here. Her first journey, what careful, painstaking, elaborate plans she had to make for it. Okay, so what happened? She had to make elaborate plan for undertaking her first journey for a period of years. She was small enough, and then she didn't have money enough to sustain her or to pay for the fare. That is why very carefully, okay, spending money very carefully is called thriftily. Okay, so she thriftily saved whatever stray coins. Stray coins means sometimes if someone has given her 1 paisa, 2 paisa, something like that. Okay, because in those days 5 paisa, 10 paisa coins were also there, okay, in circulation. Okay, even when we were children, 5 paisa was also there, 5 paisa, 10 paisa. Like coins were more in circulation. Nowadays coins are less in circulation, but in our time coins are more in circulation. So whatever stray coins used to come to her, she could save them, and she could spare the money very carefully. Okay, otherwise she would not be able to take a bus ride. That is why whatever stray coins came her way, she saved them very, very carefully, resisting every temptation to buy peppermints, toys, balloons and the like. And finally she had saved a total of 60 paisa. Okay, so as a child she had lot of every child has lot of distractions, okay, in the form of temptations, in the form of playthings and all that, toys and all that. But somehow she could manage to resist that temptation of buying her playthings, so that she could save those stray coins to make it to 60 paisa. And eventually she could save that as well. How difficult it had been, particularly that day at the village fair, but she had resolutely stifled a strong desire to ride the merry-go-round, even though she had the money. Okay, so once there was a village fair, and it was very difficult for her to resist the temptation of going for a merry-go-round, okay, riding in merry-go-round, but somehow she could resist her desire, stifle her desire to save some more coins, and that's how she overcame all the desires, all the stifling desire that kept coming in her mind, okay, whenever there was occasion like village fair or any other place where she visited. After she had enough money saved, her next problem was how to slip out of the house without her mother's knowledge. So she has, first hurdle she has already overcome. What is the first hurdle? The first hurdle of saving the money for taking a bus ride to the next nearby city. So this particular hurdle she has overcome. But now there is another hurdle. What is the hurdle? Now she has to visit the nearest town without the knowledge of her mother, because otherwise she will stop her. Okay, that is why that was one of the greatest challenges now to her, how to slip away from the house without the knowledge of her mother. Now let's find out. You see, but she managed this without too much difficulty. Every day after lunch, her mother would nap from about 1 to 4 or so. Okay, she would nap, she would take short sleep, this is called nap. So for 1 to 4, there is 3 hours nap she used to take every day after lunch. Vali always used these hours for her excursions, as she stood looking from the doorway of her house, or sometimes even ventured out into the village. Okay, ventured out means she went outside on her own boldly or courageously. Okay, so whenever after lunch her mom went to bed for taking short sleep, she used to venture out, she used to explore, okay, and experiment on her own. So might be she would now use that particular time, that duration of time, for going to the nearest city. Let's see. Yeah, town. Next, you see, the bus rolled on, now cutting across a bare landscape, now rushing through a tiny hamlet, or hamlet means a village, a tiny hamlet, or past an odd wayside shop. Sometimes the bus seemed on the point of gobbling up another vehicle that was coming towards them, or a pedestrian crossing the road. But lo means see, somehow it passed on smoothly, leaving all obstacles safely behind. Trees came running towards them, but then stopped as the bus reached them, and simply stood there helpless for a moment by the side of the road before rushing away in the other direction. So this is the description of the bus, okay, making its onward journey has been given here. Okay, how is the bus going ahead, and when the bus goes ahead or makes an onward journey, what kind of other vehicles also come, and somehow like it appeared that there will be collision, but the bus driver can manage to cross all the obstacles whatever comes on the way, and that is the description of the movement of the bus, okay, onward movement of the bus, which is given here. Next, you see, suddenly Bali clapped her hands with glee. Glee means happiness. A young cow, tail high in the air, was running very fast right in the middle of the road, right in front of the bus. The bus slowed to a crawl, and the driver sounded his horn loudly again and again. But the more he honked means sounding the horn, yes. The more he honked, the more frightened the animal became, and the faster it galloped. Gallop means run. Always right in front of the bus. Okay, so there was a problem with the young cow actually. Okay, here. Next you see, somehow this was very funny to Bali. Okay, being a small child, small girl of 8 years old, she found it very exciting, very funny. So she laughed and laughed until there were tears in her eyes. Okay, why are there tears? Let's find out. Hey lady, haven't you laughed enough? Called the conductor. Better save some for tomorrow. Okay, better save some means the bus conductor told her not to be so much absorbed in her observation of outside view, and asked her to keep some observation for the next trip. Okay, so better save for some for tomorrow. At last the cow moved off the road, and soon the bus came to a railroad crossing. A speck of a train could be seen in the distance. Okay, now there is a hurdle in front of the bus, the railway crossing. Okay, and train could also be seen from distance, in the distance, growing bigger and bigger as it drew near. As the train was coming nearer to the railway crossing, it appeared to be bigger and bigger. Okay, next you see, then it rushed past the crossing gate with a tremendous roar and rattle, shaking the bus. Okay, the bus also became shaken with the sound of the passing train. Then the bus went on and passed the train station. From there it traversed means traveled, a busy, well laid out shopping street, and turning entered a wider thoroughfare. A thoroughfare is a busy road actually. Okay, thoroughfare. Such big, bright looking shops. What glittering displays of clothes and other merchandise. Such big crowds. Okay, now the bus has entered the town. That is why on either side of the town there are shops and there are so many things of attraction. So this is what the child is watching, all these natural beauty. That is why she was watching them with lot of surprise. She was gaping. Okay, then the bus stopped and everyone got off except Bali. Except Bali, everybody else got off from the bus. Okay, deboarded the bus. She did not, because she is new to the town. She might get lost on the way. So might be because of this reason she did not get off. Now, hey lady, said the conductor, aren't you ready to get off? This is as far as your 30 paisa takes you. Okay, then he says your 30 paisa fare is over here. Okay, then how does Vali respond? She says, no, I'm going back on the same bus. She took another 30 paisa from her pocket and handed the coins to the conductor. Why is something the matter? No, nothing's the matter. I just felt like having a bus ride, that's all. Don't you want to have a look at the sights now that you are here? All by myself? Oh, I'd be much too afraid. She said, no, I don't want to go for a sightseeing all by myself, because I'm feeling scared. I don't want to go. Then, greatly amused by the girl's way of speaking, the conductor said, but you weren't afraid to come in the bus. Okay, you weren't scared to travel the bus all by yourself. Then how come you are afraid now to go for the sightseeing all by yourself? Nothing to be afraid of about that, she answered. Well, then why not go to that stall over there and have something to drink? Nothing to be afraid of about that either. Oh no, I couldn't do that. Well, then let me bring you a cold drink. Might be she was not having money, that's why she cannot afford to have a drink. Okay. No, I don't have enough money. Just give me my ticket. That's all. That is why Vali, it's not because that she was scared, but because she was not having not having money to purchase something or to have a drink. That is why she preferred to stay back in the bus itself. No, I don't have enough money. Just give me my ticket. That's all. It will be my treat and not cost you anything. No, she said firmly. Please no. The conductor shrugged and they waited until it was time for the bus to begin the return journey. Again, there weren't many passengers. Okay, on their way back also from the nearest town, the bus was almost empty. There were only few people inside the bus. So now last part I think it's all about return trip. Okay, what kind of things she experienced, you see. Now part 4 you see here. Won't your mother be looking for you? The conductor asked when he gave the girl her ticket. No one will be looking for me, she said. The bus started and again there were the same wonderful sights. Vali wasn't bored in the slightest and greeted everything with the same excitement she had felt the first time. But suddenly she saw a young cow lying dead by the roadside, just where it had been struck by some fast-moving vehicle. So on our way return journey, Vali was very much sad by the sight of a cow lying dead on the road. Okay, isn't that the same cow that ran in front of the bus on our trip to town? She asked the conductor. The conductor nodded. Yes, the same cow. And she was overcome with sadness. What had been a lovable, beautiful creature just a little while ago had now suddenly lost its charm and its life and looked so horrible, so frightening as it lay there, legs spread eagled. Spread eagled means spread out. A fixed stare in its lifeless eyes and blood all over, because the cow was run over by a vehicle. That is why the blood also spread out everywhere. Okay, and she was very much overcome with emotion and sadness by seeing that horrible sight in front of her. Might be as a child she did not experience it before for the first time. That is why she was more tensed and sad. Okay, the bus moved on. The memory of the dead cow haunted her, dampening her enthusiasm. Now that she is overcome with emotion, therefore she could not further enjoy the scenic beauty outside the bus. Okay, so she no longer wanted to look out the window. She sat thus, guided to her seat until the bus reached her village at 3:40. She stood up and stretched herself. Then she turned to the conductor and said, "Well, sir, I hope to see you again." It seems the bus has reached the village. That is why she is parting from the conductor, saying, "I hope to see you again." "Okay, madam," he answered her, smiling. "Whenever you feel like a bus ride, come and join us, and don't forget to bring your fare." She laughed and jumped down from the bus. Then away she went, running straight for home. When she entered her house, she found her mother awake and talking to one of Vali's aunts, the one from South Street. This aunt was a real chatterbox, never closing her mouth once she started talking. Okay, so to her surprise, Vali could see that on that evening, on that afternoon, her mom was not asleep. Rather, she was awake and in conversation with one of her aunts from South Street. This aunt is a chatterbox, therefore they were talking much. Okay, and where have you been? Said her aunt when Vali came in. She spoke very casually, not expecting a reply. So Vali just smiled, and her mother and aunt went on with their conversation. "Yes, you are right," her mother said. "So many things in our midst, and in the world outside. How can we possibly know about everything? And even when we do know about something, we often can't understand it completely, can we?" So, in what context is Vali's mother saying this is something you have to understand here. What context do you think Vali's mom is speaking these lines? She spoke very casually, not expecting a reply. "Where have you been?" Vali just smiled, and her mother and aunt went on. "Yes, you are right," her mother said. "So many things." Okay, might be it is a reply. Okay, to her aunt's question. Okay, which is not quoted here. Okay, so because their conversation was going on from before. Okay, before Vali arrived. So this is one of the sentences, okay, in continuation of their conversation. Okay, so many things in our minds, in our midst, and in the world outside. How can we possibly know about everything? Okay, and even when we do know about something, we often can't understand it completely, can we? Okay, So, oh yes, breathed Bali. The Bali with the understanding said, yes, yes. What? Asked her mother. What's that you say? Oh, said Bali, I was just agreeing with what you said about things happening without our knowledge. Okay. Might be she was referring to herself. No? That is why she said. Just a cheat of a girl she is, said her aunt. And yet, look how she pokes her nose into our conversation, just as though she were a grown lady. Okay? Vali smiled to herself. She didn't want them to understand her smile. But then there wasn't much chance of that, was there? Because she could somehow manage to outsmart her mom, okay, into not understanding the fact that she took a bus ride, okay, to and fro from her village. So that is why, Vali smiled to herself and did not want them to understand the meaning of that smile. But then there wasn't much chance of that as well, until and unless someone reports to her mom. Okay. So anyway, that's the end of the story. So we come to know that a child is very much observational by nature. Okay. So if let alone, okay, they can learn on their own many things independently without parental help. Okay. So the power of observation, and if a child observes, she can learn many things. She got the knowledge also. Okay. So the power of being independent and power of being a keen observer is something that has been highlighted in the story. What's the name of the story? Name of the story? Yes, Madam here has been referred to by the bus conductor because she is very much matured as a girl. Okay, that is why even though she is an 8-year-old girl, she has been referred to as Madam because of her maturity. She was more mature than her age. That is why she has been referred to as Madam. Okay, so those who are watching, you can write the questions. Okay, we shall discuss the answers next class. Thank you so much. Bye bye.